All right, in this video, you will become familiar with how to write proportions. We are not going to be solving proportions in this section of the book, just learning how to set them up. You need 5.3 video sheet or spiral and a pencil handy, please. All right, here we go. Very first slide says boys to girls in a class of 7 to 5. So it's important to note that order matters here. Boys to girls means that the boys are 7 and the girls are 5. It doesn't mean there's exactly 7 and 5. It just means the ratio of boys to girls 7 to 5. So there are more boys in this class. Write a proportion to determine how many girls are in the class if there are 14 boys. So all we're doing is writing a proportion. We don't need to solve it. We're just writing it. So I'm going to use 7 to 5. 7 boys. So I'm putting boys on top and girls on the bottom. So I'm going to keep track of that in my head or actually write it down. So when I go to write this 14 in, I need to make sure to be consistent. I need to put the 14 upstairs because I put the 7 upstairs before. I could also start this ratio with 5 to 7 equals x over 14, but typically you're just going to do it in the order that's written. Either one of these proportions would work. I was consistent. I put boys in the numerator and girls in the denominator. B, write a proportion, determine how many boys are in the class if there are 15 girls. Well, we're going to use the same proportion, boys in the numerator, girls in the denominator. And so when I put the 15 in, I need to be consistent and put that downstairs. So on the homework, you're going to be asked to write proportions. I know it's tempting to solve these because they're pretty straightforward. I would just do times 2 and get 10. But that's not the point of this lesson. We're just writing proportions. All right, next slide. You might want to pause the video and try these two on your own now that you saw me do the first two, and come back when you're finished. All right, so it says 3 cups of flour for every 2 cups of sugar. Instead of using a C for cups, I'm going to use an F and an S. Just to keep track of things, I'm going to put flour on top and cups of sugar on the bottom. Now this is not part of the ratio. This is not part of the proportion. I'm just writing that down to keep tracks. You can do that in your head if you want. Write a proportion in terms of how many cups of sugar, how many cups of flour you need to mix with 9 cups of sugar. Well, sugar is downstairs, so I need to be consistent. And I would put an X upstairs. That's where I would figure out what that is. We're not solving it. We're just writing it. That's all you do. And then the last one, I'm going to put flour on top, sugar on the bottom again. So flour goes on top and sugar goes on the bottom. All right, we'll discuss solving proportions in the next section of the book. But for now, we're just writing them. All right, again, it's great if you pause the video and try these on your own to see if you're starting to get the hang of it instead of just watching me do it. All right, pause it and come back. All right, if you're back, I'm assuming you at least tried it. It doesn't really matter which one of these you put first. With the ratio, it does, but when you're writing a proportion, I'm going to put shirts on top and dollars on downstairs. I'm going to put a dollar sign just so I don't forget. 3 shirts for $3.50. Write a portion of how many shirts you could buy for $12. Well, yeah, you guessed it. 12 was going to go downstairs because I have money downstairs. That's it. Write a proportion to determine how many shirts, or sorry, how much money it would cost to buy 8 shirts. So I'm going to use 3 and $3.50 again. You always go back to your known data about the problem. 8 shirts for an unknown amount of money. There's your proportion for that one. And again, both these could be flipped and it would still work. All right. 2 out of every 5 students are in track. So this is 2 students out of every 5. So it's really kind of like a part to whole ratio here. 2 out of every 5 means 2 students out of 5 total. So when you go to write this 1,400 in, let's see, write a proportion, determine how many students were in track in a school with 1,400 students. Keep in mind that 1,400 is the total number of students. So that would be your proportion right there. All right, we're getting close to the end here. Sometimes we might give it to you in a table like this. If we do, it's kind of a gift because it's almost already written for you. All you're going to do is make a proportion out of these numbers. 2 ringtones for $6, 3 ringtones for X dollars. If you want to write it over again without units, you could just write that. So on the homework, you might have some that have tables like that. The test is worth 60 total points. Write a proportion, determine how many points you need to get 85 per percent. Remember, percent means per 100. I'm trying to get 85%, 85 per 100. All right, so 60 total points. If it's worth 60 total points, I'm going to put that downstairs. So 85 is to every 100 as what do we want out of 60? So we need a certain number of points out of 60 to equal 85%. That's how you set that one up. I would pause the video, try the second one on your own. It's pretty much the same. Try practice setting that up. All right, if you're back, I'm assuming you tried it. 60%, so 60 out of 100 would be what out of 40? All right, so we can use proportions to solve problems like that. All right, believe it or not, that's it. Hopefully this helps, and we will see you next time.